everyone, I'm Maddie. Today we're going to be discussing The Lost Hero by Riordan. I really don't know how to pronounce his last name. I think it's Riordan or Riordan. I legitimately have no idea, and I've been reading his books since I was like 9 years old, but it's fine. I am super far behind on all of Rick Riordan's books. He not only has the Heroes of Olympus series and the Percy Jackson series, but he's also written an entire series about the Norse gods. I own it right here. He's also written the Kane Chronicles, the Trials of Apollo now. So he's got like 5 or 6 series going on, and I've only read the one. I read Percy Jackson and the Olympians back when I was like 9 years old. I'm also currently building a Rick Riordan shrine on my bookshelf. He's the author whose books I own the most of. I own 3 of the Percy Jackson books, but not the first 3. Why do I only own the middle 3? After reading The Lost Hero, you might be able to tell I have another one. I impulse bought the box set on Amazon because it was only $23, and I had a gift card. Loved the first book, so I had to have the 4 books following so I could just read them like back to back to back. I also own The Sword of Summer. Oh, the bees! The Red Pyramid. Let me just say that I absolutely adore it. Seriously, like 5 out of 5 stars, 98% on my scale. It was just phenomenal. It blew me out of the water. It's been almost 10 years since I read a Rick Riordan book. He's a wonderful storyteller. I am just so beyond glad that I picked it up again, but I'm also kind of sad that it took me such a long time to read more of his books because I remember loving them when I read them as a kid. If you don't know what the Heroes of Olympus series is, you should probably read the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series first. I mean, you probably don't, but it's nice to have background. The 2 are companion series to one another, so it is kind of nice to know what's going on. The Lost Hero is about a guy named Jason, wakes up on a bus in the middle of Nevada and has absolutely no idea who he is, where he is, or who the people surrounding him are. And essentially, the whole book is about him trying to figure out who he is, what he's doing. It's all about Roman mythology. Sure, there is a lot of Greek mythology in it as well, but the big deal of the Heroes of Olympus series is that it's not as based on the Greek mythology, it's more based on like Roman mythology, which I think is super cool. Rick Riordan really knows how to tell a story. This book was around 550 pages long, and I read it almost in one sitting. Like, I did not want to put it down, but I had to go to work, so like I had to put it down. It was just so interesting that it kept my attention the entire time. I was flipping and flipping and flipping and did not want to put it down, which is why I bought the rest of the series, because I know that the rest of the series is going to be like this. I am really glad I read this so far from when I read the Percy Jackson series, because when this series first came out, a lot of people on YouTube and a lot of his book fans were really upset about it. I don't really agree with all of it. A lot of people felt like Jason was trying to be like Percy, or like he would never live up to Percy. He would never be the same as like the original protagonist of the Percy Jackson series, which, like, duh. They're not the same characters. There's bound to be some similarities because a lot of protagonists have similar personality traits, but they're not the same character. Honestly, I was just really excited to read about 3 new characters in the new world that Rick Riordan had created. It's such a fun story, and the characters are all so fun. There's just 3 new characters that I fell in love with. The story is compelling. There is not a day that goes by that I do not lament what the Percy Jackson film series could have been. If they would have treated it like they treated the Harry Potter series in film, it could have been the next big franchise. If you haven't read this book, please go do. It's absolutely wonderful. I loved it. This is the end of the non-spoiler section, so if you haven't read it, go read it. Bye, people who haven't read it, but come back after you've read it. Bye! I do love the trope in books, somebody waking up and not knowing who they are and having to like take the book to figure out who they are. It's just so frustrating when that person is the main character because you just sit there not knowing along with them. So the whole time you're like,
I'm just as confused as you are.
The inner dialogue of this character is super confused and you're just super confused. You're like, cool, everyone's super confused. You know, stuff's gonna get revealed by the end. Not everything was revealed by the end, and I was like, ah. That's why I bought the box set. I've been waiting to read The Son of Neptune because I wanted to finish this first, because I wanted to have all of my like theories and thoughts before I jumped into reading the next one, because otherwise it'd be tainted. I really did fall in love with the new characters and the new character dynamics. It was so much fun. That's the only adjective I feel like can really encompass the entirety of this read for me. It was just fun. I forgot how good Rick Riordan's storytelling is. It's just so much fun. I love all of the new characters and their dynamics. I loved learning about their quirks and their pasts. I like the multiple POVs in this because we're able to get so much perspective from everything, and I'm assuming as the books go on we'll probably get the perspectives from like all of the 7, which is really exciting. Okay, I want to talk about that real quick. So obviously the 7 so far are Leo, Jason, Piper, Annabeth, Percy. I know I've heard things about a girl named Raina and a girl named Hazel, so I thought maybe they'll be the other 2 in the 7, but then the box set came with this. One of the girls is that one, but I don't know who this is. Obviously that's Percy, that's Annabeth. I did not envision Jason blonde. I don't know why I didn't. He might have said that he was blonde. Piper, some girl, some guy, and then Leo, but I don't know who they are. I had absolutely no idea Piper Piper was Aphrodite until it was revealed that she was Aphrodite, because I was like, she's really good at persuading people. Who persuades people? I was like, is there a god of thievery? Because I was like, maybe that is the thing. I'm not 100% sure if I understand the distinction between the Roman versus the Greek god personas. They're not different gods, but they're different forms of the gods. I mean, I get it. I don't know if I'll understand it 100%. I assume we'll get more of that as the series goes on, because again, for like a third of the book, we got a really confused point of view. Actually, no, the entire book, everybody was confused. Jason was just the only one who had absolutely no idea who he was, but Piper and Leo had no idea about anything that was mythology at all, because, you know, they just got thrust into it. Medea showed up, and then King Midas, and then all of these new gods that were introduced, Boreas, and the one in Quebec. It was interesting to like meet new gods that we've never seen before. I've never even heard of those. I loved seeing all of these new gods and goddesses and in their different personas, but I also really loved learning about the new houses. We got to learn all about the Hephaestus house. Yes. Aphrodite house, which I thought was super cool. The sleeping house. It was really cool to see all of these new characters and all of these people, but also see all of the old characters too. It was just so nice to revisit a world that I fell in love with when I was like 9 years old. I absolutely loved that Leo fixed like almost every situation that they were in, but the poor baby had such bad self-esteem issues. He was like, I'm useless. Like, Jason is the thunder god. Legitimately, he was the one that got them out of pretty much every single situation. He just saved the day so much, and like Jason did too. His power is just powerful, but Leo's power is very resourceful. Piper was just absolutely useless until the last scene. Sure, her charm speak kind of helped them a little bit, but until that last scene, she was not badass at all. Why are the gods so cryptic?
I can't tell you that. We'll be seeing more of each other. You already know that.
No, he doesn't. You wiped his memory. Oh yeah, Jason, you did a bunch of stuff. We don't want you to remember it. Like, everything would be so much easier if they were just straightforward. I guess it's cooler to talk in riddles and just be super vague. I'm really interested to see where all of this goes. How are they gonna be able to defeat anyone if the second they kill a monster, it just reforms like that? It's cheating. That was my book talk on The Lost Hero. I'm very sorry if it was non-cohesive and just all over the place and rambly. Just know that I loved it. If you have read it and you want to discuss it, leave a comment down below and I'll talk to you about it. I'm Maddie. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. I'll see you next time. Bye!